But basically our operation is, it's about 40% retail, 60% wholesale.
Okay. How's the season been with the rain and everything?
Good.
Good for you, because you don't have stuff on the ground.
Exactly.
It's in the air.
I know it's been a tough year for some vegetable growers, but for us, it's a complete flip-flop from last year. This time last year was very dry.
Yeah.
So the fruit was small. We had about 50% of a crop last year. But this year, nice fruit size, good fruit set. Trees are heavy, which you'll see when we go out the orchard.
How's all that water affect like the taste? Do the trees suck it up, or do they regulate?
I mean, with an apple, sometimes with the peaches, it will take away some of the sweetness. We did have some very hot weather though, which helps with the sweetness on the peaches.
Yep.
So the peaches were good this year. They were large and sweet. With the apples, it sizes them up. They're still sweet, and it just makes them bigger. It doesn't affect the flavor on an apple.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta imagine when you're dealing with a tree that's been there for years,
sure,
it's a lot different than a seasonal crop,
right,
where
yep,
it's just looking to suck everything out of the ground it can.
Yep. We look at nutrients in the tree and the soil and all that, so the tree really just absorbs that water and it doesn't make its way into the fruit. When the bins come in from the orchard, we come in here. The pickers pick into picking buckets. They empty them into these bins. These are 20 bushel bins. They weigh about 800 pounds full. So they come up onto the line here. You have the tank full of water. The bin drops, the apples float to the top, and then they start their journey down the line. We have an inspection station here. They're brushed, scrubbed, dried with fans. Anything under 2.5 inches, which isn't marketable, drops through this chain here. And this goes to make our cider.
Cider, okay.
Which is also in your stores. The brushes, fans to dry them. So when this is running, there's someone there, someone here, just visually inspecting, pulling out anything that's rotten. Makes its way under that hood where there's cameras, and it takes like 12 pictures of each apple, and then that, based on color and size, determines where on the line that apple is going to go based on the program that we set. So down further, we're packing tray boxes, the loose apples with the sticker.
Yep.
So that's a larger size apple, good color. So those will just keep going straight and deposit onto those lanes there. These here measure the weight of each piece of fruit that's on them. So it's, we can really get an accurate weight in those 3-pound bags. So each case is coming out 12 3-pound bags, very close to 36 pounds.
Wow.
Which is good for you guys. It's a consistent pack. It's very efficient, much more efficient than what we're used to. So this is, we've been using this for a few weeks, and so we're still getting used to it. Once the box is full, they'll come down that conveyor here. They go through a tape machine and then slap a label on it. And then we'll put them onto pallets and move them into our storage. In the afternoon, we'll pack orders for the next day. So they're getting the orders ready for tomorrow's deliveries.
All out of that one little cooler, huh?
All out of that one little cooler.
And I gotta imagine, like, all the technology, that's kind of something that you have to do to be able to grow in a place like Connecticut, where land's expensive, and
sure,
you're competing with places where they just have acres and acres of open fields, and you got to do it in a smaller spot and as efficient as possible.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of apple growers, we're the largest apple grower in the state of Connecticut. But obviously, when you look at places, in Washington or even New York State, there's a lot bigger operations.
Right.
For a smaller operation, but it's still important to us to keep up with that technology, so we can have a consistent pack. The quality's there. That's important to us.
So we can get something that's local at a price that's just as good as someone that's on a bigger farm.
Exactly.
Because we're able to use technology.
Yep. But,
so this is stuff that's been picked.
This is stuff that's been picked.
going to be processed.
Yeah, we don't have anything in low oxygen storage quite yet. It's still the beginning of harvest, so basically everything that's coming in is coming into regular storage. It's put in here, and it's going to go right to the line. Coming in from the field, right to the storage, then onto the packing line. Once we get into some bigger volume, we're going to put a lot of fruit up into the low oxygen storage. Yep, which is going to keep it. Our first pick fruit is going up there. It's going to keep all winter.
Do you need to chill it before you run it through the processing, or prefer to?
We prefer to.
Yeah.
Up here we have 2 regular storage coolers and 4 low oxygen storage coolers.
And how high do you stack stuff in here? Right to the ceiling?
Right to the ceiling. Oh yeah. Yep. We fill them right up. They fit. Each room fits 10,000 bushel, so about 500 bins of those plastic bins. In this room here, we have our nitrogen generator. So low oxygen storage, obviously, we lower the oxygen. Breathing, right now we're at 20.8% oxygen. We lower the rooms down to 2%. So what that does, apples are kind of like humans. So they breathe in, they take in oxygen and respirate carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide will make these apples break down much faster. So what we do is we lower the oxygen by pumping nitrogen into the rooms to 2%. What that does is prevent the apples from breathing in oxygen, so it prevents them from respirating CO2. We also have behind you here, this is a carbon dioxide scrubber. So this will run on each room. We can set how many hours we want it to run. It samples through the room, determines what the CO2 is. It'll figure out how many cycles it needs to run. It pulls the air out. Inside these cylinders here are carbon filters. So it takes the carbon dioxide out, shoots it outside, and sends clean air back into the room. So kind of by pumping nitrogen in, filtering carbon dioxide out, we keep that oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the room very low. So that prevents the breakdown of the apples through the winter, because we're going to pick these apples, we're going to put them into the room, in September. We're still pulling apples out in May, June, and you're getting them at that nice, you're pulling them out and they're still nice and crisp.
So when someone comes to the supermarket and they want to know how they can get fruits and vegetables of different kinds, some of it is growing in different parts of the world, and some of it is technology that allows us to hold something without it breaking down through, oxygen or whatever else is in the air.
So what they used to do back in, before all this technology, they would pack them in airtight barrels and then, hold them in cellars, keep them cool. And they would grow varieties where you could store, not for a year like you could now, but you could store them for longer periods of time, like a Baldwin or a Russet, kind of hardier varieties that would.
So do some of the softer apples, do they break down easier? Or?
They break down easier, but I mean, like a Mac, a softer apple, we're pulling Macs out in the spring and the summer, and you still got that crisp. It's amazing.
Wow,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. 4 box trucks that are on the road 6 days a week. This time of year, we usually have to rent 2 more, so we have 6 trucks on the road 6 days a week.
Wow.
It's a busy couple months.
So these were just picked this afternoon?
These were just picked now.
Okay.
He's driving them right to the packing line where they're going to be packed up and put into boxes and head out to stores tomorrow. It really doesn't get much fresher than this. I mean, these apples are going. We're waiting on these galas to pack. We need to fill gala orders tomorrow, so these are coming in.
So
going on the line.
Picked 10 minutes ago.
Yep.
It's sweet.
Yep.
As can be. You're gonna cool it, wash it, and it could be in our store, tomorrow or the next day.
Less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours.
Yep.
Awesome.